Come on. All right, we are here with the first ever Finding the Gap post race show. And what a race to start the post race show with fucking huge amounts of controversy, an amazing start. That first corner, a few of my predictions on the show came right. Your prediction in the pre race show came right. Or your lack of faith in someone in the pre-race show came to fruition.
Yeah.
It says it there. Ocon wins the Grand Prix. So first and foremost, like huge congratulations for him, man. Unbelievable. An Alpine winning a race this season is incredible. But we were talking before coming on air. It's really Fernando Alonso's win. He gave it to them. If not for him, Lewis Hamilton wins that race. Even one lap quicker to let him go by, Lewis Hamilton wins, but he held him off long enough to give Ocon and Vettel a chance to stay where they were. But just crazy race in general.
Yeah, I mean, Ocon winning that race, like no one would have predicted that at all. But
Nope.
to be fair, that is a massive team victory for the whole of Alpine Renault. That's incredible teamwork by Alonso to keep Hamilton behind for that long. That was an insane battle as well, by the way. That was incredible to see them going side by side for that long, and especially because it's those two. The history and the respect is just insane. More of that, please. But
that was awesome.
But yeah, congratulations to Ocon. That's incredible. Just it's always good to see someone win their first Grand Prix, like Gasly last year. Just pure elation. It's great to see.
And what a celebration! Parking it way down the end of pitch straight, having to run back up. That's just the way you want to do it. You want to make sure it's memorable. You'll remember how Gasly celebrated his first win. He had to run, 300 meters back up the pit straight to get there. But back to Alonso and Hamilton, never for a second did I think they were going to take each other out. Like, how experienced they are with racing. If it was Max and Lewis, that's another story. There's history there. There's, Alonso and Lewis sort of gave themselves more space because of the respect. I don't think Verstappen would have given Lewis anywhere near that much space, and vice versa. But just awesome racing, like another great battle that we've had a few good battles this year. I mean, the Verstappen Lewis one at Silverstone was great up until Cops, but Alonso's been in those battles before. It's just good to see him still doing it. But yeah, Ocon, incredible. I guess should probably move on to the start. The first corner.
Yeah.
Intermediates. Bottas. I'll let you go because Bottas was everything you said at the start of in the pre-show.
Yeah,
is exactly what Bottas was.
Yeah, predictions on point this weekend. It was awful, wasn't it? It was amateur hour from Bottas. It was dreadful. Yeah, he's a professional Formula One driver. He's in the top team. He knows if he's following another car behind, he's going to have a lot less downforce. And he braked at the exact same point as you would in a standard wet race, not even following a car. It's just complete amateur hour. I can't believe the penalty that he's got is only a 5th place, because that was shades of Spa 2012 with Grosjean. I would say this is worse. What Bottas did this time, because it was Grosjean squeezed Hamilton in that race. That was a squeeze that had ultimate bad consequence. But this was a full-on punt from behind. That is a race ban written all over it, in my opinion.
I mean, you look at the force that he hit Norris with. Like, he didn't just tap him; he lifted the car up, completely off balanced him. Nothing Norris could do. Straight into the side of Verstappen with huge force. Amazing that Verstappen was able to continue.
Yeah,
I feel like McLaren might have retired the car just because they knew there was going to be a penalty coming for Lando. But huge force, takes out Perez as well. Leclerc ends up taking out the damage he caused because of that. His incident it's way more than a 5-place grid penalty. Like, for a Mercedes car, that's nothing. You saw it today. Lewis Hamilton, they fuck up at the restart, and he still comes out in 3rd. Could have won the race had it not been for a brave Alonso. But yeah, deserves way more than a 5-place grid penalty in 4 weeks' time when everyone will have forgotten about it. It's going to be red hot with Twitter going against Mercedes again, just because of it's Bottas that takes, was champion leader out. But it's just incompetence. Like you said, he's in the top team, in the top tier of racing in the world, and you do something that's stupid. Like, at least with the Lance Stroll incident, he's trying to avoid contact by going as far across to avoid all the cars, and you get on the grass. There's not much you can do there, but again, caused by Bottas. Like everything starts to slow up in front of him because everyone's gone sideways and across the track, so he has to try and take a evasive maneuver, sliding. It's not his. I mean, he hit people, but it wasn't. It's not his fault. He's gone across like that. He's done his best to avoid it, and I feel bad for Stroll. I know there's a lot of Stroll fans out there, but Bottas just at the end of the day ended 5 cars races, including his own, in one corner.
Yeah, so Bottas in one corner took out 3rd place in the championship, 1st place, 4th place himself, Leclerc, who's 6th, I think, Stroll, and ruined Verstappen's race.
Yep.
Yeah, like you said, it's amazing how he was actually able to race with that amount of damage. He had
Yeah.
no barge board on the right-hand side.
Yep.
He had punctured his bodywork. They fixed it with flex tape. It was insane.
Yeah, great repair job from the mechanics.
Yeah.
That was a red flag, was a blessing. Like it had to be a red flag. Like at least to give the guys that were innocent victims out of that a chance to actually, assess the damage and try and fix it. Credit to Red Bull for doing what they did. I may have predicted on the show that Perez would get a DNF. I expected it to be a mechanical one, thinking about summer break and engines maybe coming towards the end of their life. But that's another thing that now costs Red Bull. Max is looking at a engine penalty because he had to change an engine for this race, and Sergio Perez is going to get the same thing as a result of this because they're going to have to change an engine. So down the track, when they don't have the engines to spare, they're going to get hurt again by grid penalties at the start, and that's going to play into Mercedes' hands. And I know it wasn't a Mercedes strategy. I say that with slight confidence. It does play into their hands heavily. Bottas' incompetence. And it's that old saying, she's not going to sleep with you, bro. They're not going to sign you. Like you're as good as gone.
I saw some tweets before this race saying that this is Bottas's annual race win to keep his seat.
Yeah.
It's one other way to do it is take out your championship rival. But yeah, I see people sort of comparing Silverstone to this week, and it's complete night and day difference. This was 100% Valtteri Bottas's fault.
Yep.
Last time out, it was a borderline racing incident more towards Lewis, but you can pin some blame on both drivers. This was 100% Bottas's fault.
Yep.
Took out 5 cars, including himself. No, he ruined Max's engine, Perez's engine. Each of those are £9 million each. That's £18 million for a new engine. Ruined the bodywork. He's probably caused upwards of like £20 million worth of damage in that one incident.
And during the cost cap era, I mean, Red Bull went through the incident last at Silverstone. And now they've got 2 cars they've really got to fix. It's and yeah, like you said, there's no one else to blame. It was almost like he was looking like behind him, not even paying attention to what was going on in front, like worrying about, oh shit, who's going to go past me now because I had such a bad start. And it just seems like it deserves more of a penalty. At least a race suspension. Like it has to be. I was actually getting excited. I'm like, oh, if they suspend him, George gets a little bit of a head start in that Mercedes. They might as well just make it a permanent swap, like. But,
I was saying this earlier actually to a group chat. I will not be surprised if they swap George in the summer break for Valtteri after that incident.
Yeah,
I can see it happen because that is dangerous. That he's going to get so much flack. There's no way he's going to keep his seat now after that.
Nah.
Yeah, just put George in there now. He's levels above Bottas.
Yeah, and I mean they're in a real fight this year for that constructors championship, and you want to have your best driver. You're going to do it at the end of the year. Why not go into the new era with the 2022 car with, Russell getting a feel for how the team works on a weekend to weekday basis? Like get him in there now. Bottas just isn't up for it anymore. People joke about it's the best car. Anyone could win in it. And then there's Bottas who can't win in it and has struggled since he joined the team. Nico Rosberg could win in it. I mean, he's a better driver, but it's been a dominant car. He can't come close to Lewis unless everything goes his way. A little bit like Nico Rosberg. It's just, I think George Russell will at least push Lewis to be better, like push him to go harder and, help the team get extra points and maybe be able to play that strategy game where they hold the Red Bull back while Lewis pushes ahead for that drivers' championship. But it's got to be like a 75% chance of happening. Everyone says, that's not how Mercedes works. That's not how Mercedes works. But if you want to win that Constructors' Championship, you're not doing it with Valtteri Bottas. You might as well just be racing with one driver.
Everyone gave Red Bull so much flack for treating their young drivers like shit. which in Gasly's case is very much true. But with Albon, I
Yeah.
completely agree with what they did.
Yep.
But Mercedes now have a chance to be cutthroat and ruthless like they should do, and bin off Valtteri after that terrible performance.
Yep.
And get George in there, like you said early, get used to how the team functions, and push Lewis and push Mercedes to do the best that they can next year, because it's not going to be easy against the likes of Red Bull and Ferrari.
No, especially in that 2022 car. Like, Ferrari's going to be strong, but if they dump Bottas now, not only does it makes sense from just a racing standpoint, but it also, from a visual standpoint, from an outsider, like the fans are dead against Mercedes at the moment because it's 2 races they've taken out Red Bulls. If you dump one of the reasons for it, they're just like, hey, look, at least they're finally making a smart decision for once, and maybe it turns the heat a little bit around. Not completely, because Lewis Hamilton still drives that number 44, and nobody likes him. So, but it kills 2 birds with 1 stone. You become a stronger team, and some of the heat dies away.
Yeah, it's going to get to a point now where the championship is going to be decided by an incident like this.
Yep.
This is going to have huge implications on Checo and both on Max. You can basically say now Mercedes have won the constructors, because both Red Bulls will have to take penalties unless they do a massive development race, which is not worth it for next year. So we can look back on this and pin this on, this is the moment where Mercedes won the constructors. Lewis is only ahead by 6 points ahead of Max, which is, I thought it was going to be more after seeing Max literally backwards in turn 1. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see with what Mercedes do with Bottas, because they need to make a decision now.
Yeah, there's no more, we're just going to hold it off until the end. Like, make the decision. George in the car. Bottas, either out of Formula One this season, or swap him straight in with Williams, so that if he does wreck people, he's wrecking Mazepin and like Haas cars and Alfa Romeo cars, like, that don't really matter. Like, although he'll probably still find some way to fuck up the cars when they lap him. So who knows? He just has no control over that car. Moving on to some positives. Away from that incident, it's a double points weekend for Williams. I thought that was awesome. I thought a lot of people probably just voted for Alonso for driver of the day because of how well he did to hold up Lewis. But I feel like Latifi got up to 6th and held that 8th position really well. George, team man, we heard on the radio, give him priority, whatever we got to do to get these points. Luckily, they both finished, but I thought Latifi was driver of the day in that car, the way he's been all season to hold that 8th place. And, I think he beat George by 10 seconds. So he should have been driver of the day. But I get why people voted for Alonso.
Yeah, I mean, both Williams had a great showing today, and it's on these sort of days where they need to capitalize on what happens up in front. They did that back in 2019 with the race in Germany, and they've done it today. It's exactly what they need to do, and they've done it. So massive props to Williams. Their car is getting better slowly, but they had pace today. They were able to hold off. I mean, Russell was able to hold off Verstappen. All being said, Verstappen's car was heavily damaged.
Yeah,
but a battered and bruised Red Bull is still faster than a Williams, and Russell was still able to hold off Max. So that was impressive. But Latifi, incredible to beat Russell. He's now leading Russell in the championship, which you would never have thought, which is really weird to see. But it's great for the team morale. It's great for Latifi because he will be there next year. So it's great to be there as possibly a team leader, depending on who will be next to him. So this is great. This is a great start for him.
Yeah. If only Claire Williams was still there to see it. But teams under new ownership, it just feels like the car is starting to come good now, and they're going to lose their best driver, and the whole redevelopment starts again next year. But they've learnt lessons. Maybe they can take it into the new car, and maybe we can see a competitive Williams. It was only 2014, 15 that they had a really competitive team, and then they just fell off a cliff. A little bit like Ferrari did, but you didn't expect it from Ferrari. You kind of expected it from Williams. But and George Russell, obviously, with that, gets his first points for Williams in possibly his last race for Williams. So at least he got him before he left. That's all I wanted. As he could sign the contract, get the point, see you later. Hopefully his first points for Williams coincide with his last race, and he'll be getting plenty more points for Mercedes next year. But anything else out of the race that interests you?
Well, there's quite a lot. Obviously, the Alonso battle with Hamilton was just pure entertainment.
Oh yeah.
But I just wanted to bring up how hard it was to follow, because Vettel was consistently 1 second behind Ocon with a faster car, not by much, but still a faster car.
Yep.
And it just highlights we need these new regulations. The cars right now are great. They're very quick, but they're so sensitive. They're horrible to follow. They're horrible to race, unless you're Fernando Alonso.
Yeah.
So, in my eyes, maybe controversial, but Vettel deserved the win. But even staying within 1 second of Ocon for that whole race was insanely impressive. But not to take anything away from Ocon himself, he drove great. But
Yeah.
man, these cars are horrible to follow. It's painful to watch. I mean, even Hamilton couldn't get past, who was it? It was one of the Alfa Romeos for like 10 laps at the
Giovinazzi,
start of the race. Yeah,
Giovinazzi,
it was insane. Like the ninth worst car versus arguably the best or second best. That should be over in half a lap.
Yeah.
It took 10 laps to get past. It was insane, and that's not what you want to be seeing. You want to be seeing battles like Alonso and Hamilton, pure racing side by side. Beautiful.
Or Schumacher and Verstappen.
Yeah, that was a great move, by the way.
Yeah, balls to the wall the whole way around, and then they touched, and I'm like, oh, people are going to say Max is aggressive, but that was just racing. That was Schumacher putting his balls on the line and Verstappen putting his balls on the line in a broken car. I was really kind of hoping Schumacher would get some points because he did race really well, but that Haas car is just not good enough. Like, and I tried to feel sorry for Mazepin because he was taken out. He didn't deserve to be out of that race, but I just can't. Like, I like Gunther Steiner, but Mazepin shouldn't be in the sport. He's a shit human, and it sucks that he got taken out. It's going to cost Haas money, but that's the karma gods, man.
Yeah, well, something finally good happened to him, being taken out of the race. But obviously, you don't wish any harm on anyone. But he shouldn't be in F1. Give that seat to Callum Isla or someone else who actually deserves to drive. But yeah, Mick Schumacher putting up that fight, elbows out. It was great to see. We haven't been able to see that from him, and I think in that race alone, he's proved that if he were to be in a midfield car, he could perform and he could battle people. Which is great for his reputation, obviously. But he shouldn't be in Ferrari. Let's just hope they do not make that Red Bull mistake and move him up for next year, because Carlos Sainz is criminally underrated, like I said earlier, and he had a great race as well.
Yeah,
up in fourth.
I mean, it was weird because Lewis had harder effort, had a harder job getting past Giovinazzi than he did Carlos Sainz. Like it took him about a lap and a half to get past Sainz, and Giovinazzi just held him there. But it's different stages of the race. The tires were so much fresher for Lewis than Carlos, but he made that ballsy play early on in the race where they said they were going to box him, and he said, no, stay out. I've got good time, and that ended up being a blessing. He managed to close that gap to the podium places, and unlucky that Lewis they made that ballsy call to bring him in and put him on the quicker tires, and he made that time up. Again, if Alonso could have held him one extra lap, Carlos Sainz might be on that podium. So, but he's definitely proving that that's the best two-driver combo in the sport right now is Leclerc into Sainz, because they're both the same. They're both just as good as each other. Red Bull, you got Verstappen. Perez is a little bit off because it's a new car. I mean, Mercedes, it's Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas. Ricciardo still hasn't got the hang of that McLaren. I was so annoyed that he got turned around in that incident because it looked like he had a good line out. Like he made huge amounts of positions on the start, and then if he got away there, he's probably sitting in third place. But he gets turned around and his race is ruined. But all thanks to Valtteri Bottas.
That 5-place penalty is just going to bug me for these 3 weeks now. That they need to look at the footage and actually realize the implications of what that has, and they need to give him a race ban, get Russell in that car, because I do not want to see number 77 on that Mercedes car anymore.
I mean, if Lando Norris gets the points penalty for that minor little touch with Sergio Perez at Austria, and Bottas gets a 5-place grid penalty, no race ban, that was so much more dangerous than anything Norris did. Like, not even close.
Am I right in saying that Bottas got a 3-place grid penalty for spinning in the pit lane in Austria? Was that a 3-place? And this is only 2 places worse for taking out 5 cars. That's a joke.
Dangerously. Like, Lando hit Max real hard in the side. That could have been really bad. Thank God for the halo. Like, it's proved its worth in F3, and it's proven its worth in the main game. I think that's it. Nice quick post-race show. I can get to bed.
I'm going to go calm down.
I have to go to bed at 2 a.m, so the adrenaline's still sort of pumping, but Shouldn't take me long. I had about 4
Uh.
beers during that race, so let's calm the nerves a bit. I actually enjoy doing this. I think we're going to do this more often, as long as I can actually
Yeah.
watch the race live. It's not like 4 in the morning, but
Yeah.
like
Well, what's the
Belgium's is
next one?
similar.
Spa?
Spa, yeah, in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. What are we gonna do?
I don't know. It's just,
Cry.
but the good news is it's 13 races in 15 weeks. So it's a
Yeah,
pretty good
that's
finish to
insane.
the season. We can be happy with that, but it's going to be a
And
long break.
more time for Mercedes to decide to get Bottas out as well.
Yeah, give him a week. I think it should only take 5 or 6 days to make that decision. It's got to be pretty quick.
I would call him now, saying, mate, you've lost your drive. You might as well just go pack up, go back to Williams. We deserve,
Yeah.
we belong.
Okay.
It's just,
yeah,
it's criminal that he's in that Mercedes.
I was saying all along that they won't make that decision this year, but that they have to make that decision now. Like, just move on. Let's be a fresh start. Everyone will love you if you put George Williams in that car. Nobody except one person I've seen on Twitter doesn't like George Russell, so put him in the car, and that guy doesn't count. So I guess I'll be back with LK and Jason for their terrible takes for the review show. Probably dropping Tuesday, Wednesday this week. Other than that, it's a 4-week break. I don't know what the hell we're going to be doing for the next month, but we'll figure it out. Maybe some more live streams of I don't know what, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, a Bottas to Williams announcement reaction.
Definitely a live reaction.
Hopefully.
We'll just scroll through Twitter at the celebrations. And, oh, finally. And, oh,
fireworks in the sky.
At Mercedes. But yeah, that's it for us. See you guys at Spa, I guess, in 4 weeks.
Yeah, good luck trying to find something to do.
It's going to be a long break. It's fucking winter here too. See you later.
See ya.